are we reviewing the Mahindra XUV 3XO again, you ask? That's because this is the variant that you should seriously consider if you were in the market for a Mahindra XUV 3XO. Which variant am I talking about? It is the AX5 variant, which is available with a 1.2-litre multi-point fuel injection turbo petrol engine mated to a 6-speed manual transmission. Now, we've extensively reviewed the range-topping 1.2-litre TGDI turbo petrol engine as well as the diesel version, and a lot of you have requested for a review of this entry-level petrol engine. So here we are, and let me tell you, first impressions are very positive. Coming to the heart of this review, the 1.2-litre 110 horsepower, 200 Newton meters of torque, multi-point fuel injection, turbo petrol engine. The good news is that it is an extremely refined 3-cylinder. There are no vibrations to speak of, and it builds speed in a very smooth, a very linear manner. What's nice is that even when you spin this engine hard, it doesn't lose its refined character, and it's only close to the red line that you can hear a faint 3-cylinder thrum. It isn't devoid of turbo lag, but once it is on boost beyond 2200 RPM, it accelerates with a sense of urgency. Performance feels strongest and most effortless in the 2000 to 4500 power band. Get into the boost zone and it will just pull you forward with absolute ease. At 1362 kilos, the XUV 3XO is heavy. Still, it accelerates to 100 km per hour from a standstill in a respectable 11.58 seconds. Interestingly, it is quicker than its predecessor, the XUV 300, with which it shares its powertrain. Its 0 to 100 km per hour times are not particularly impressive, however, in-gear times are. And what's nice is that the way the torque comes in, it makes this car feel extremely effortless while overtaking, which is something that you'll also appreciate out on the highway. Quite honestly, you don't miss the additional power or the additional torque that the TGDI engine produces. This engine has more than enough grunt and more than enough performance to keep you entertained. We've also put this engine through our fuel efficiency test, and the results are on your screen right now. A point to note is that to keep a check on fuel consumption while idling, it also gets an automatic engine stop-start function. It carries over certain peculiarities from the XUV 300 from where this engine is borrowed, such as the long travel clutch pedal whose bite point will need some getting used to. Even its gearbox, it is smooth, it has long throws, however, certain Japanese cars and Korean cars in this segment do a far better job. What I like is that the steering is quite light, it's quite easy to place this car in a set of corners, and the fact that this dimpled or this perforated leather on the steering with its thin rim, it's really nice to hold. What you also get with this one are steering modes. So there is normal, there is sport, and there is comfort. Quite honestly, I find this a bit gimmicky, and it weighs up in sport mode and does offer more resistance, but it only adds more to the driving effort, and it doesn't really give you more feel or feedback that you are looking for. So as a result, I'd prefer leaving this in normal or even its comfort setting and enjoy the lightness and effortlessness of the steering unit. Its ride and handling balance is spot on. What further enhances ride comfort are its high-profile tires with 16-inch alloys, which absorb road shocks better than its higher variants, which get 17-inch alloys. What's nice is that this engine is available from a starting price of Rs 8 lakh, and it goes all the way to 11 lakh rupees for this AX5 version. So yes, you cannot have this engine and a 6-speed manual with anything higher like the AX7 or the AX7L variants. However, even this AX5 variant is really well loaded. For starters, you get a digital instrument cluster, you get the steering modes, you get a touchscreen with wireless Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay, and you also get a sunroof. So yes, in terms of equipment, it has you covered. Also nice is that unlike the AX7 and AX7L variants, this one doesn't get leatherette upholstery. Now don't get me wrong, I'm all for leather upholstery, but that's only when it's paired with ventilated seats. Now neither of the variants of the XUV 3XO get ventilated seats, and as a result, with the leatherette seats, you tend to sweat a lot. Now that problem doesn't exist in this version, which gets fabric seats. Another advantage of these seats is that they are black, so they are much easier to maintain. That said, I'm not particularly a fan of these seats. Now, these are a bit too snug for my liking, and support also is a bit inadequate. Other ergonomic issues like the cramped footwell are carried over even in this version. The XUV does retain its dual tone interior color scheme, so the top half of the dash and the door cards is black and the bottom half is white. Now while it certainly looks premium, the white is a bit difficult to keep clean. It doesn't get soft touch materials on the dashboard like its higher variants. However, it still sports generous piano black garnishing, some silver highlights, and an upmarket perforated leather wrap steering. The rear seat is a spacious and comfortable place, even for 3 adults. A space-saver spare tire beneath its floor has enabled Mahindra to liberate a bit more luggage space compared to the XUV 300. Still, the 3XO's 295-litre boot is small by segment standards, and its loading lip is rather high. As far as its design and exteriors go, differentiating the AX5 variant from the top-spec XUV 3XO is the absence of fog lamps. These are replaced by a prominent black casing. This variant retains the LED daytime running lamps and headlamps, as well as the chrome inserts on the grille panel. It gets smaller 16-inch wheels which are carried over from the erstwhile XUV 300. Even this variant gets roof rails, a rear spoiler, connected tail lamps, rear wiper and washer, but what's missing is a variant badge on the boot. Before giving out the verdict, we are happy to report that the XUV 3XO has been awarded a 5-star crash safety rating by Bharat NCAP. With that, it's time for the verdict. So there's a reason why the Mahindra XUV 3XO AX5 variant is among the most demanded variants in the XUV lineup. The engine has more than enough performance to keep you entertained. There are a good amount of features on offer despite it not being the extreme top spec with the panoramic sunroof and the likes. And then at 11 lakh rupees for this particular variant, it spells great value for money. It is so good and so well-rounded, it really makes you question the need for the more powerful and more expensive TGDI turbo petrol variants. And for the sheer bang for the buck it delivers, the Mahindra XUV 3XO AX5 is worthy of your consideration.